Yan Yu. This on that 8th hole, which can be very tricky. The par 3, it's somewhat of a signature hole here at Koalina. Not a problem to... She has a chance, of course, to become the world #1 at week's end. Arya Jutanagan coming through the field today with a round of 66. This, her approach to the final hole of the day. It would set up a birdie. And Arya Jutanagan moving to the top of the leaderboard here on Thursday morning in round 2 of the Lotte Championship. This is how things stand. IK Kim, a 64, 2 off the tournament record, tied for the lead with Arya Jutanagan. Mi-Hyang Lee still out on the golf course. There's Imbi Park. We're going to talk to Imbi in just a moment. A round of 68 for Park, who's already a winner on the 2017 calendar. Lizette Salas, the player with that tournament course record here. She's at 5 under par, looking to build. We will be watching Salas in our coverage. There's Paula Creamer, who fell back with that 74. She's at 4 under par alongside Christy Kerr. Stacey Lewis is in our coverage today. So too Nicole Broch-Larsen from Denmark, looking for a good week here to secure more starts on the tour in 2017. It's round 2 of the Lotte Championship. Channel and the LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From the island of Oahu in Hawaii, it's second round coverage of the Lotte Championship, presented by Hershey. Approximately 8 million people visit the Hawaiian Islands each year, coming to enjoy everything the world's most remote island chain has to offer. It took the LPGA 32 years to make the trip, Amy Alcott winning at Kaanapali in 1982. Koalina, which means fulfillment of joy, first hosted the LPGA Tour in 1990. It is a resort community just about 30 minutes drive from the Honolulu International Airport. There are hotels, condos, and of course this golf course, which opened in 1990. We're glad you could be with us for this second round coverage, and we are hoping for a smoother day today than the one we had yesterday. Remember, there was a 45-minute rain delay in the afternoon. Players stayed down on the golf course to see out the storm. It wasn't the only delay on round 1. A pickup truck spun out in the wet conditions late in the day and ended up on the front of the 13th tee. Play was suspended for a very short while. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. But back to the golf. There is a race over the next 2 days for the top spot in the world rankings. Lydia Ko has been there for 76 weeks, but that run could end if So Yeon Yu were to win here, and Lydia Ko would have finished outside of the top 5. We will be concentrating on that over rounds 3 and 4. But what about today? We'll be looking at the likes of Michelle Wie and Stacey Lewis. Now, Michelle Wie, she is the home favorite. She first played a tournament here at Koalina some 11 years ago. She finished 3rd as a teenager. Her last victory on the LPGA Tour was in 2014 at the US Women's Open. That was the same year that she won here at Koalina. Stacey Lewis, her last victory was also in 2014, and she would desperately like to win again. She has had 12 runner-up finishes since that last victory at the Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship. She has been reminded of it many, many times, and she would like to get that off her shoulders and get the victory once again on the LPGA. This at the first hole. We'll take you out there live to start the day with a birdie. Lewis with a round of 68 yesterday, in a good position to make a challenge. Currently 5 back of that lead at 9 under par. And a good start for Stacey Lewis, who came in here under the radar. A lot of attention being paid to So Yeon Yu, the world's top 4 players all in the field. And maybe Stacey will use that to her advantage. So let's meet the other members of our broadcast team. In the booth, it is Grant Boone and Karen Stupples. Great to have Mark Rolfing with us this week. Out on the golf course, Jerry Foltz and Kay Cockrell. And we can take you out to the second and say hello to Grant Boone.
Tom, thank you. Karen and I watching Mark Gonzalez-Escajan just moments ago.
And just a rookie on the LPGA Tour this year, playing really very well.
And now live, Michelle Wie, second shot, Jerry Foltz there.
That was a little late iron into the breeze on a great line. Just tough to get it to that back little sliver of the shelf.
Right, it's down right there.
Got the flower in the hair. Trying to make the cut. Right on the cut line. Take a look at our featured groups. Presented by JDX. Michelle Wie, 15 years ago, played in her first LPGA Tour event over on the Big Island, playing with Brooke Henderson, and last year's Rookie of the Year, In-Ji Chun. And we'll also see Austin Ernst with former world #1 Stacey Lewis, and a player who many think has the tools to become #1, Sung-Hyun Park. MJ Her, we saw her contend at the Kia 3 weeks ago. Allison Lee and Lizette Salas with a good history here. Jerry watching Brooke Henderson at the second.
From just 117 yards. What a tee shot on this difficult hole. But still, into what's close to a 2-club wind right now. That was a 9-iron. And a full one.
Been able to have some benefit from that really aggressive tee shot there with just a shorter iron into that green.
IK Kim with a 64 the round of the week so far. Inbee Park with a 68, and she's tied for 6th place and with Tom Abbott.
Well, thank you, Grant. Great to have Inbee with us. The front 9, it was kind of a different story for you between the back 9 and the front 9. You really turned it on the final 9 of the day, which was that front 9. What was the difference?
You know, I just felt like I wasn't really awake on the front 9, and I wasn't able to make many birdies, and my putt just didn't drop on the front 9. But you know, luckily on the back 9, I was able to make a lot of birdies and finish really strong. So yeah, really happy with you know, my finish going into the final couple days. Yeah.
12 months ago, this was sort of the last event before we'd learned you had that thumb injury, which really made a big difference to your career. Because since then, you say you've sort of changed your philosophy, having to step away from the game for quite a considerable amount of time.
I mean, I never took that kind of time before, and you know, that really made me realize, you know what, you know, I should be thinking on the golf course. It really changed my mindset, a little more positive and a little more appreciative of, you know, of anything, you know, everything that's going on the golf course. I'm just happy that, you know, I am playing out here, you know, very healthy, and, you know, not, you know, I think I got to the moment where I was just thinking so much of, you know, what other people's thinking of me instead of what I am thinking of myself. So I was just kind of really losing myself and losing my interest in game and everything like that. But over that break, I really got myself back, and I feel like I am really, truly enjoying the game.
Is there more for you to achieve in the game? You've won 7 majors. You're a member of the LPGA Hall of Fame. What is left for you? What motivates you now?
Well, I think it's, you know, I think anything can really motivate me now. You know, whether it's just a top 5 finish, whether it's just a win. You know, there was moments, you know, I have to admit, you know, where, you know, I kind of felt like, you know, there's nothing really motivates me as like, you know, winning a major or, you know, being in the Hall of Fame. And I really felt like, you know, I've done what I wanted to do, you know. But, you know, the most important thing I kind of forgot about is that I really enjoy doing, you know, this game of golf. And, you know, that's what I really, truly enjoy. And, you know, anything can really motivate me now.
We enjoyed watching you. I'm sure you enjoyed watching So-Yeon Yu, your best friend out here, win at the ANA Inspiration. You played with her in the final round. You had a chance to win yourself. What did you make of that final day and everything that happened?
I think it was an amazing experience. You know, unfortunately, I'm making a couple of mistakes on the back 9. You know, put myself in, not in a playoff, but I was really happy to see So-Yeon win that championship, major championship. She had, you know, such a hard time. I mean, she played well, but just didn't win. And I just knew that, you know, watching her so close, that she was so ready to win. And I knew that was going to happen, you know, very soon. And I'm really happy for it that it happened in a major championship.
Well, she has the chance to do something that you've already done in your career. She has the chance to become the world #1. She might well be battling with you come Saturday night here. We'll have to find out. Thank you very much for talking to us, Inbee. Let's get back out to the second hole.
And Michelle Wie for birdie.
This one awfully slow. It was the entire way. It didn't turn much either.
For a slow putt, it was great to see her be that aggressive and that positive to get the ball past the hole.
Over to 18. Mina Harrigai, 10 years ago, won the U.S. Women's Pub Links. Native Californian, went to Duke collegiately. And She's having a fine week inside the top 10. A good shot there. That's near our final round hole location.
And it's a tough one too. It's just literally perched at the top of a ridge in the green.
Get you back to the second, and Brooke Henderson.
Trying to take advantage of the only realistic birdie putt from the same tier as a hole. This one should inch just a little bit to the right. Ji Chun narrowly missed hers from the lower level. Made par.
It's a nice way to start there. I really liked how the putter accelerated through the ball. Yesterday we saw her out on the golf course miss a couple of those that looked a little shaky with the putter going through. That one looked great.
The lead is 9 under. Henderson from Canada, just 19 years old, moves it to -3, and Michelle Wee for her par.
Good 3 feet here. A little bit of what we used to term a knee knocker. Might inch a little left. It certainly went right coming up the hill just past the hole, but a delicate putt.
Safely in for par, but 1 under is right on the cut line with a couple of players at 9 under, both of whom have finished their second rounds. Our second round coverage in prime time continues. Today's coverage is brought to you by Lotte, enriching your life. CME Group, how the world advances. And by Win Grips, the best grips in golf.
Welcome back to the Coahuila Golf Club. This is the first hole, par 5. Lizette Salas with her 4th shot. Hole playing dead into the wind right now, so it is every bit of a par 5. She will struggle to get her 5. Left herself an uphiller, though, for a par. We go up to 18.
And Mina Haragai to post 7 under. Good position for the weekend. A Friday-Saturday weekend. Saturday finish here. tied for 9th. Like Michelle Wee, a former women's pub links champion. To 3.
That is Michelle Wee on the tee.
That one didn't fade as much as she was hoping, Mark. Brooke Henderson already hit a really good one down the fairway. But that's not bad.
No, a little ground fade there. That looks to be a pretty decent lie. Second shot up the hill. And back to 2.
And Kay Cockrell watching former number 1 in the world, Stacey Lewis.
Hit a beautiful drive, Grant, and that's an 8-iron. Back into hurting, quartering wind.
Back to 1.
Lizette Salas now to save her par at the first. Cannot take these 3-footers for granted. Hit them firm. That's what she did. So good par to start the day. There's a look at your leaderboard. Area Jutanagarn and IK Kim, who shot a beautiful round of 64 in wonderful conditions this morning at Colina. And we go back to Grant and Karen.
Mark, thank you. Back in 2003, Arnold Palmer said that he thought Michelle Wee had a chance to attract people to the game of golf in the way that Tiger Woods had. We can't take our eyes off Michelle Wee, and we're going to get a chance to see her today, Karen.
And it's still the same. I mean, what applied then to Arnold Palmer still applies today. Everybody is just fascinated by what she does, whether it's when she's playing well or when she's playing bad. Everybody wants to fix her. Everybody wants to make it right for her so that she can truly achieve the potential that I think everybody feels that she should be doing. What she's doing now, though, it's impressive. She's starting to get back on track again. And if she can just keep building her confidence, who knows? We could see another season like the one she had in 2014 where she went on to win the US Women's Open.
After winning here, you like how she's driving. She's 110th in accuracy, which probably won't wow you, but when you consider that her career best in accuracy is 127th, it does indicate that there are some improvements, right?
It does, and she's gained a bit of length as well, which shows an increase in confidence with that club. I also feel that when she drives the ball well, it runs through into her iron shots and then also into her putting. I think she's just that kind of player that if she puts herself in a good position off the tee, I think she feels like she can score.
Well, she is right now on the cut line at 1 under par, and she made a nice par save there at the second. We're going to see our tournament summary here at the Lotte Championship. So-Yeon Yu can become number 1 in the world. She could become the 10th ever top-ranked player with a win and a finish by Lydia Ko of 5th or worse. Area Jutanagarn cannot become number 1 this week, but she does have 5 top 10s in her last 6 starts. And Paula Creamer and Nihang Lee co-led this morning after a weather-delayed first round. They needed about another 45 minutes or so to finish up the first round, and Creamer with a bit of a struggle today, but a good finish for her. With the birdie at her last hole.
Good look from behind Michelle Wee at the target.
Right at it.
You can see hole location all the way on the left-hand side. Got to be careful. Don't want to miss left.
You're just playing 103 is fine, yeah?
Yeah.
The actual yardage, 99, bit of a downhill lie. There's 2 collection areas on the screen, Mark, as you know, left middle and right middle. They're like that's a hourglass tier in the screen from front to back. Dial in the distance and your line's reasonably good. You're going to have to make the putt.
Oh, that is a nice one there. Very difficult to get the ball between the hole location and that left-hand part of the green. And I thought that was a really important and good putt she hole for par on the last hole.
Yeah.
Now Brooke Henderson.
Yeah, 93.
Just 92 yards for Brooke. And Mark, she doesn't have the club head speed of Michelle Wee, but the second consecutive hole into the wind where she outdrove her. This one a little closer than the last, but comfortably. Still a downhill lie here. Easy for this one to squirt a little ride on you.
That's a good shot there for you right-handed players that are watching out there. On a downhill lie, tilt your shoulders a little more with the slope. Get the left shoulder a little lower so you can swing down the slope. That's the key there. and she did it. Back to 2.
And Kay looking at Stacey Lewis for a moment ago for birdie.
A long putt, a good 45-footer uphill into the wind.
What? Whoa!
That was out of nowhere.
The other side of Oahu, Mark. You can see Diamond Head from where she was almost. Take a look here. The updated leaderboard, Tana Garn and I.K. Kim. Both playing this morning in round 2. And at the 18th, this was I.K. Kim to join Jatana Garn. And now she joins Tom Abbott.
Well, thank you, Grant. Great to have you here, IK. Good day today. 64, just 2 off the tournament course record. You had 5 birdies in a row out there. What happened around the turn?
It just, putting was dropping today. Yesterday I hit the ball as good, but the rain and everything just was hard to adjust it. But today I knew the greens were soft, so I was able to go at the pin.
You won in 2010 at Lorena, then there was a pretty long wait until you won last year at the Rainwood event. Did you feel a lot of pressure to break through and win again?
I think I wasn't even aware that I haven't won because I won a few times in Europe. I don't know why I play better when I go to Europe, but yeah, it felt really good, and I think a lot of people really happy for me, and it was good for my family. But I still get the question, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Now, you don't play a huge amount on the LPGA Tour. You're selective in where you play. You played 16 events last year. You're planning to play 20 or so events this year. Why not play more?
I think I play enough, and then I like to go to the places that I've never been to. And also I come here every other year because I appreciate more, I think. And I love it when I come here that I am more aware that how tense I am. When you go, every gift shop here is so relaxed, and it's very spiritual place. I never thought, so it's really nice to being relaxed and play golf.
It certainly works. You've had some really good results here, a couple of top 5 finishes. What are your expectations now over the next 2 days this time?
What is your expectation for me?
Well, I think you have a good chance of winning, looking at that leaderboard and the fact you shot 64.
Yeah, every day is so different out here with the wind and rain, and I think it works for me because sometimes I have such a big expectation and it's, let down here and there, but I gave my best and I hope to do the same thing next 2 days.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing how you play. Okay, thanks very much for stopping by. Let's get back out to the action now here at the Lotte Championship and to the second hole.
This is Lizette Salas. How about IK throwing it right back at Tom?
I know, she has a little cheeky side to her that I like.
I do too. There's a lot to like about this young player, isn't there, Lizette Salas?
There is, and you can see why she's such a consistent performer. The connection that she has through her golf swing really creates consistent shots. She doesn't get a lot of distance on it, so she really has to be that player, the consistent one that hits the fairways, hits the greens. And then when she's on fire with the putter, she can make a few.
Lost a playoff here to Suzanne Pettersson in 2013, but not until she had fired a course record 62 in the final round. Asking for it to sit. She'll have a little room to work with there. Get you to the 3rd.
Michelle Wee for a birdie 3.
Straight uphill putt. Might die a little right, but pretty slow.
Boy, terrific read. Disappointing par there. She hit the one with some conviction at number 2 for par, but that one didn't have a whole lot of conviction. Still a pretty good start for Michelle. And Brooke Henderson now from the other side of the hole, completely different putt here.
Yeah, this one marked downhill has to be dropping to the right. This would be a heck of a start, birdieing 2 par 4s. It played dead into the wind. Couple extra looks on this one, which usually makes you think she's not all that comfortable.
Oh, got it, though. So Brooke Henderson off and running in the second round of the Lotte Championship. We are on the island of Oahu, and he or she is just off the island of Oahu. Humpback whales are back in town, and we'll be back to the Lotte Championship.
Well, smooth sailing today. We had the choppy waters yesterday, and the storms then came in. In fact, the wind was similar early yesterday to what we have today. Then the winds died down, and Mark, that's when the rain came in.
Well, they are died down now because that catamaran is not sailing. As you can tell, the engines are going. There's not enough wind really to sail out there right now.
To the second and the third shot for Lizette Salas.
Bit of a break from left to right, has to go up. It's here. And that'll be a tester coming back for par.
Well, let's show you where we are. Keep going, go, 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 go. There you go. The Hawaiian Islands, and we're on the island of Oahu. 227 miles of coastline. You see the Waianae Range on the western side. And let's zoom into Ko'olina Golf Club. Opened back in 1990. The LPGA came here. The old Hawaiian Open. And here's our course setup, brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. The 10.5 on the stimp meter. It's a little misleading, isn't it?
It is, and they do that because, you know, there's going to be a lot of wind here, so they can't quite speed it up as much as that. But with the grain, if you're putting uphill into the grain, it can feel really slow. Probably feels nearer a 5, but when you're putting downhill and down grain, it's going to feel closer to a 15 or 16.
To 3.
Second shot for Stacey Lewis here.
Mark, she's just into the rough. Has a pretty good lie. Just a question how it's going to come out. She went after that wedge hard.
Oh, she judged it nicely, Kay. Got a lot of spin coming out of there. Using the slope, that is a good shot. So a chance for Stacey. And up to the par 3 fourth.
And rookie Laura Gonzalez Escajon to save par. Curls it in. to 3.
Sung Hyun Park, this is her second shot up the hill.
Seeing if she can get it in a little tighter than her two fellow competitors. 3 very nice shots out of this group.
Yep, they have it surrounded, Kay. 3 different putts there, but all with a chance. Up to the tee at 4.
A beautiful look from the green back up to the tee. One of our featured groups. Brooke Henderson to go first after the birdie.
So stretched out a little bit today, 196 yards. Breeze helping from the left. Hasn't really died down much yet, but those clouds are forming over the hills again, the ones that stayed with us all afternoon yesterday.
Is there a no-no spot here, Karen?
Well, what's difficult is that it is downwind. They're going to be going in with sort of a mid-iron, maybe long iron. And in terms of getting it to stop, it's going to be tough. So landing it just short of the ridge that is in the green or into the ridge is important. But there is a bunker down there.
It looked like it just caught it. That sounded like it was high on the club face as well.
Interesting Brooke swing here. She takes it back a little bit on the outside, really nice and high, long full swing, but look how flat and shallow she is coming into the ball, and then she chases it down the line with the club through. Does require good timing with that swing.
Michelle Lee is next.
Was the initial club I heard. Michelle hitting it further this year, hitting it straighter, and hitting a whole lot more greens. She ranked 124th last season, greens in regulation. This year all the way up to 26th, and the putting's better, so that's a pretty good recipe for success. Trying to get this to fade, about the only shot she's been hitting lately, but that one never turned.
Get you up to the 18th. This was just a moment ago. Chris Tumulus having a nice couple of days here. 4 unders tied for 19th at the moment. Pitches forward. And now live, one of the first round leaders, Mi-Hyang Lee. Unlike Paula Creamer, she has built on her first round 6 under par total.
There's a little swell there on the green. Slopes round to the right of the hole and to the left of it. It gathers the ball sometimes.
Back to the second, and the par putt for Lizette Salas. Unable to birdie the par 5 first. She'll drop a shot here at the second. To the third.
Stacey Lewis down the hill for her birdie.
It's for 3 in a row, and certainly potentially an amazing start.
Wow, can't believe she left that one short. I think it might have missed on the right-hand side anyway. Isn't that true? Wish you were here with me. Jutanagarn and Kim lead the way at the Lotte Championship presented by Hershey. We are on the island of Oahu and we'll be right back.
looky here. Did you get the invitation to the nuptials?
No, I was not invited.
Paradise Cove. Save us a piece of cake.
I think I'd much rather be here watching the golf.
Here's you. I think with that, we'll get to the fourth and a third shot from Michelle Wie.
Perfect.
Just a pretty basic chip and run here.
Back we go to three.
Austin Ernst for a birdie. This was just early while that was happening.
Made a great up and down on the last hole for par, and then takes advantage of a good shot there.
That was a really good one, Kay. That putt had quite a bit of break to it. Again, that was just a moment ago. Now live is that Salas from the left-hand side, her second up the hill.
Get up. Go.
That will not be very good. Up to the home hole.
Mi Hyang Lee has this for birdie to finish up a round of 69. It'd be the first time that she's begun an event with a couple of rounds in the 60s this year.
Nice smooth stroke, but back up the hill into the grain, so slow. Really hard to make yourself hit it hard enough.
That's not necessarily stone dead yet. Let's get you to the fourth again, and Brooke Henderson for par, Jerry.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice bunker shot to here. Actually narrowly missed the cup as it rolled by, but it did roll by a significant amount right to the edge. And a putt basically is just outside the right lip from here.
Went out on the golf course yesterday with Grant, and we were watching this group play some early golf, and watching Brooke Henderson putt this year in comparison to last year. Last year she looked... This year she looks a lot more serious over the putt.
Putting stats are almost equal from last year to this year, but I agree with you. She does look... Yeah, she doesn't look like the child out there that we saw before. She still smiles. She's still got that kind of silent, smiling assassin way about her, but she's not contending as often as she had been pretty consistently. That just never turned on her. Hit it right where she aimed.
Get you back to the 18th, and Chris Tomullis is to get to 5 under. The morning wave is finishing up. There are a couple of more groups to finish up in the morning. The afternoon wave getting out onto the golf course now. Under. Tied for 18th. 9 under is the lead. Tana Garn and IK Kim have a par putt here from Michelle Wie.
Par putt uphill really shouldn't do much. This putting technique that she has nicknamed the reverse Sergio, and that was before Sergio was a major champion. She puts a claw stroke on a conventional grip in her mind, whatever it is and whatever you call it. She has come up with different iterations of unique putting styles herself. This one seems to be working best thus far, but it's still all about confidence.
Made a nice one at 2. Nice par save at 4. 4 holes in, she remains right on the cut line. Mi Hyang Lee, this for par. And she follows up a 66 with a solid round of 70. Our aerial coverage this week is provided by the Hawaiian Islands. And there are some of those dark shadows that Jerry referenced earlier, Mark.
I think they'll be all right for a while. That's the Waianae coastline that you're looking at there. Little town of Nanakuli up the road, and then if you go all the way out to that corner, the sort of northwest corner of Oahu, Kaena Point, wonderful spot out there, particularly if you're an adventurer.
We're at the 12th, and this is Yoonhee Ji.
Former US Women's Open champion, won at Saucon Valley, beats Christy Kerr coming down the stretch there. That's quite the formidable person to go up against.
Back we go to 3.
Remember, Lizette Salas came up short with her second shot. This now her third. Appear to be on the upslope. And it's pretty good from there. Hard to get the ball back to the hole on an uphill, up sort of into the wind shot. Now we go back to the 4th.
And a bogey putt here for Brooke Henderson.
And given this good look as well, she saw what it did going past the hole, which wasn't much, so this you would expect her to make about 95 times out of 100.
She has been hitting the putt with a little bit of a pop rather than stroking and getting the putter through it. That was better, through it.
First bogey of the week. Last year she was second on tour in birdies made with 455 behind only Arya Jatanagarn, who made 6 today in a bogey-free 66. She's tied with IK Kim. Day 2 of the Lotte Championship. Birdie par for Stacey Lewis. She's on the tee at the 4th. Kay Cockles there.
Trying to land this 186, playing about 165. It's a 6-iron. And she certainly judged that very nicely.
Yes, best of the day that we've seen at the 4th. So she'll have that for a 3rd birdie in 4 holes. Back to 3.
And Lizette Salas to save her par. That's a good one. You just don't want to leave yourself par putts of that length. If you keep doing that, eventually it'll wear you out mentally, even if you are making them.
Brittany Altamare is 2 shots off the lead. This is a 3rd shot here at the 18th. Last group of the morning wave, finishing 18.
Interesting pitch here. There is. If she can land it halfway between her and the hole, but she will have to allow for it to bounce to the left.
Her caddy is familiar.
Yes. David Clare Schriefel played on the LPGA. Has been out here a little bit. Seen her on the driving range a few times, helping some players out.
Sophie Gustafson on the bag of Beth Allen. Megan Francella, winner on tour, turned caddy.
They all, obviously, when you played on tour, you have a great deal of experience and you know what the players are thinking, so it's quite a valuable asset to have somebody that's been there before.
Yoon Hee Ji at the 12th is to stay 5 under. That U.S. Open that Karen referenced was a 2nd consecutive year with a victory. Hasn't won since then. Jatanagarn and Kim at 9 under. Stacey Lewis off to a great start. Lewis will have a putt for birdie at the 4th when we come back to get into a tie for 5th place. 69 consecutive events without a victory for Stacey Lewis. Is this the week that victory comes? Fun in the sun and offshore here on the western shores of Oahu. Kai Ole Ole, which means Mark Rolfing, what?
I don't know, but you pronounced it nice.
Thank you.
I can tell you that.
Let's get those apostrophes straight. This is the 4th hole, and it's Austin Ernst.
Didn't quite get it up to that upper tier, so pretty long putt.
Brittany Altamare for par to stay tied for 5th. Ooh, feels good, doesn't it?
It does. Just snuck in there nicely. No problem at all.
Good position for the weekend.
Well,
Tied for fifth.
And now she has all afternoon off and a morning to put her feet up and relax.
Or maybe go on the Kai Ole Ole.
There you go. Little snorkeling.
Sure. How about this start, Kay, for Stacey Lewis?
Pretty exceptional. It's nice to see her feeling comfortable. Actually, as she was warming up before her round, she was pretty chatty and pretty low-key, which isn't always the case with Stacey. Really nothing in this putt. She just had to stand up and be brave and hit it firmly.
Three birdies in her first four. She is now tied for fifth place, 2 shots off the lead with a lot of golf to play and a par 5 coming up next. To the fifth.
Look left, right, down.
Yeah.
Speaking of that par 5, there's a look from behind the green.
Part where, how far in do you think that water goes? Like where it just left that bird?
Yeah, I would say to be safe, I think that right as the green's almost where you just I wouldn't go any further than that.
Don't want to really be aiming at those birds, Jerry. They tend to move a little bit.
She only has 210 yards in front of the green. Breezes out of left. Still some help in it. Interestingly, she drove it in the fairway. They are still playing lift clean in place, so she took her 1 club length, lift clean in place, and put it into the first cut to give it a little more cushion, Mark, because it is a bit of a downhill lie. 229 hole.
Forget about the whole location. Aim at the green.
Right edge.
And that'll have a nice little cushion under it. More importantly, a good angle back at that whole location, so not a bad shot at all. Michelle Wee marching her way up to the par 5 fifth green. She'll have a third shot here at Ko'olina as she tries to inch her way closer to the lead at the Lotte Championship.
We welcome you back to the Lotte Championship presented by Hershey Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour, bringing you live coverage from Ko'olina Golf Club on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. The LPGA Tour's only visit to the state in 2017. And we've seen a move today from Stacey Lewis. 3 birdies in the first 4 holes. This was Lewis at the opening hole of the day, the par 5, to move to 5 under par. Lewis, who hasn't been to this tournament since 2013 when she finished tied for 9th. To put in a good week here, maybe end that winless streak, which we've talked about so much, dates back to the summer of 2014. Birdie start for Stacey today in round 2. Remember, this is a Wednesday to Saturday event on the LPGA Tour. The par 3 4th can be a tricky hole. The breeze getting up this afternoon, but Stacey just about spot on with the distance, and that would lead to another birdie. So let's check how things stand. Ariya Jutanugarn and Aike Kim have finished their round, 64 and 66 for the 2 players tied at the top. We'll be hearing from Mi Hyang Lee in just a little while, a round of 70 for Mi Hyang. There's So Yeon Yu, who could challenge for the top spot in the Rolex rankings at the end of the week if she were to win here. And Taya Srisarang out on the golf course, 3 under through 7. Paula Creamer falling back a little bit today with that 74, having been tied for the lead overnight. Out to the 5th, Brooke Henderson with her 3rd. Jerry Foltz is watching.
That was just from 71 yards. Oh my, she did the same thing on the first hole from a similar distance, but it stayed on the green. This is going to be a lot of work.
No, 71, and she hit it 81. That is a total misjudge of distance. Okay, In-Ji Chun with a little bit of a predicament here. Ball is in the hazard, inside the hazard line. She can take her practice swing outside the hazard line. What kind of a stance can she take here is the question.
We're going to see what kind of gymnast she might have been right here. She has to stand, I believe, just on her toes on the rock border of that.
She will have to grip way down on the club. She has to shorten this club. There you go, almost down to the steel.
She might go swimming on this one.
Issue here, Karen, is she's going to have to close the club face. It's really easy to pull this shot if you're a right-handed player.
The biggest key is not to try and hit it too hard, because as soon as you try and put too much into it, that's when you can lose your balance.
I don't think she's practiced many pitch shots from a balance beam before. That's pretty sporty right there.
That is really good. So leaves herself with an uphill chance, and she knows by the indication of that look on her face just how good a shot that was. Over at 11, par 4 on the backside. Jennifer Song with her 2nd.
Good opportunity, this one, for a birdie for the players.
Oh, look at this. Beautiful shot there. Comes to rest about 4 feet behind the hole. Great chance for Jennifer for her 3. Now back at the 5th, Michelle Wie with her 3rd shot.
It's in an area of some really strong grass, not the common Bermuda that you see in other places. That's the only issue here, because otherwise it's a pretty basic pitch and run. No real contours to deal with, just a little break from the right. That's pretty nicely done. Getting better.
See how quickly Michelle got the ball on the ground and rolling just like a putt, folks. You don't want to hit that shot up in the air, especially when the wind's as strong as it is this afternoon. So she just turned it basically into a long putt. Over at 11, afternoon wave of tee times just beginning their round. This is Becky Morgan of Wales. And she should be able to knock that win safely for her par. To the 5th now. 4th shot for Brooke Henderson after not a very good 3rd, that's for sure.
Well, it certainly looked like it almost plugged when it one hopped into the bunker, but had enough spin on it to where it spun back toward the hole out of its pitch mark, just barely. So it's almost like it's teed up, which is really the only chance here. Downhill lie slightly, downhill the hole, breeze from the right, very little green to work with.
And the water staring you if you hit it a little bit right and a little long.
Yeah, and when you try and spin it, what you really need here, when you try and get that little extra spin, you got to cut that margin between where you hit the sand behind the ball and the ball a lot closer. Nicely done. Oh, not a great bounce, but a nice shot.
Okay, it's a pretty difficult shot. But those sand saves pretty irrelevant stat in the game of golf today because it requires 2 shots. And that would be a good putt here for a sand save. Good look at Brooke Henderson from behind. Takes the club up quickly. See gripping way down on it. Slides the club underneath, splashes it out the sand. Back over 11. Jennifer Song had hit a beautiful shot, you'll remember, in this for a birdie. 3 good strokes there for Jennifer. She will get to -2.
Well, with his housemate, Justin Thomas, on SBK 17, Bud Cauley with an 8-under par round of 63 today. The RBC Heritage. Second round coverage tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Back at 5.
This is Chun for birdie.
Number 4 would be uphill a little slow. Slight movement right.
Oh, what a good-looking putt that was. Any more speed, that one holds its line and goes in. So a par, could have been worse. Second shot actually could have ended up in the lake. You see it just loses its pace right at the end, gets a lot of hole. But if you're on the low side, that ball never will take a look and fall in to the left. Okay, Brooke Henderson now from the other side of the hole.
Should just turn a little to the left right when it gets to the hole early. I don't see it moving that way. It is speedy, just the opposite of NG Chun's putt. So NG's, I would say, is a much easier putt. Was a much easier putt than this.
She is definitely looking out to the right here. Wind coming a little bit from her right. This is an exposed green. Actually could blow the ball a little bit. Beautiful camera work there. She started on the right edge. Is enough? No, it is not. A pair of lip outs from opposite sides of the hole. They're both on the low side. She will go quickly over to the 6th tee. Take a look at this one. Looked pretty good. A foot from the hole. Nope. Those are the kind of birdie putts you like. So Michelle Wie gets to 1 under for the day. I think a good thing mentally for her would be to set a target score. If she could shoot 3 or 4 under this afternoon, get within 4 or 5 of the lead, that would be a good performance. This is over at 13G for a birdie. 9 under is the lead, but you almost have to forget about that this afternoon. Make sure you play the weekend first, or Friday, Saturday, as it is. This is Lewis at 5.
Yeah, it's going to require a really solid, well-lined shot, and she pushed that one out to the right, but that certainly is the place to miss it.
That's the 9 under par that I was talking about, Grant. Pair of them in the clubhouse right now.
Mark Brittany Altamari with a 66 today. Second best score of the day, and she is with Tom Abbott.
Thanks very much, Grant. Tied for the Low American Honors right now with Stacey Lewis. It's been a pretty long day for you, Brittany, because you were one of those players that had to come back and finish your first round this morning. How much of an adjustment was that?
It was a little bit of an adjustment. I didn't get out here too early. I just kind of did a quick warm-up because I had a hole and a half left, but it was a little warm-up to today's round.
It makes it easier. Shot 66 today, so it obviously worked pretty well. You had a moment out there where you made a really long putt. Tell us about that.
I mean, I hit a decent shot in there, kind of pulled it a little bit, so it went a little further than I thought, and I mean, it was kind of a downhill curler, 50-footer, and I hit it exactly the way I wanted to, and it went in. It surprised me, so it was good.
And let's talk about your career over the last few years. You won on the Symetra Tour last year, having been out on the LPGA Tour a couple of years. Your first season you had status, but you chose not to play. What difference did that win have for you on the Symetra Tour last year?
I think it just kind of gave me some confidence coming out here. I had conditional last year, and I came out right after that win, and I just think I felt confident about myself, like, yes, like, I can do this, so.
And you know, you always have a great chance of getting into our coverage. Do you know why?
Because your producer went to Virginia.
That is going to help your chances even more that you've said that. Brittany, thanks very much for stopping by. We're back out to the action now here at the Lotte Championship here on day 2. Brittany Altomare tied with Stacey Lewis for low American honors at 7 under par.
So that's the reason. Okay. Michelle Wie at the 6th. Good one. Up ahead on the green. Gonzalez Escajan for birdie.
Can be really quick from up above this hole, but does have to look at that go. The other thing that the players have to contend with too when you're talking about downhill, downgrain, typically it's downwind as well. So there's all manner of things working for them in terms of judging the pace.
You see the palm trees and some of the bushes swirling here as Brooke Henderson tees it up at the 6th.
It was about this time of day yesterday when the wind stopped, and as Mark Rolfing will tell us, that's the danger zone when the storms move in. Still blowing pretty good into the players, a little from the left. Brooke choking down on that 48-inch driver, the maximum allowable by the rules of golf. And I think the only player in professional golf at a high level who uses a club that length.
And the reason for that is that most players find it really difficult to control the club face. They can't quite get it back square enough.
Back to 5.
This was just a moment ago. Austin Hurst with her 3rd.
And that was a little 90-yard shot mark after laying up.
And that was a little good one, Kay. So she leaves herself 4.5 feet. Now a live, beautiful view from behind Stacey Lewis. Maybe just a little bit of a downhill lie, Kay, but lots of green to work with here.
There is a lot of green to work with, but she definitely has to ensure that she hits it to the right side, because there's that slope and that low part of the green that's in the front left part. She paced it up. She has 20 paces to the edge of the green, and then another 19 to the hole. And this is where you really have to, the downhill lie will help you control the trajectory, keep it down. Actually, she threw that up a little higher than I thought.
Wow, that is a good shot there.
Really nice.
A little surprising. 7.5, maybe 8 feet for her birdie. Yeah, I hit that one right in the middle of the club face, she says. Back to 6.
And let's see if Gonzalez Escajan can save her par. We'll get to know her a little bit later on in the show. Ariya Jatanagarn and IK Kim at 9 under. Stacey Lewis will have a putt coming up at the 5th to get within 1 of the leaders. And currently tied for 3rd, Mi-Hyang Lee with Tom Abbott.
Thank you very much, Grant. Mi-Hyang, you're on. You're ready. You're ready now. You're a little bit nervous, but don't worry. This will be fun. Okay. Now, let's talk about dark, didn't you? How difficult was it to finish your round?
Actually, just I want to do finish at the dark because I don't want to play only today. So, but I couldn't see the hole, actually, and then I couldn't see the line either. But it was a really good experience for me. It's the first time for me, but it was a great experience. Yep.
Well, hopefully you don't have to play too much more holes in the dark going forward. But you said coming into this week that you kind of lost your confidence. You missed 2 cuts coming in here. How did you get your confidence back?
Actually, I watched the video about when I won the Mizuno Classic and then last year Manulife. So I watched the video when I was play good, and then trying to think the more confident and then more aggressive shot and then think positive. So then getting better.
Maybe you'll be able to watch video of this event in the future as well to get some more confidence. Now you live in South Carolina. How come you came to live there?
First I came USA, just my friend's uncle lived there, and then my friends invite us, and then we need some credit about to buy some house and the car. So her uncle helped us about the credit. And then first we thought want to stay maybe 6 months and then 1 year to stay in Colombia because nothing in there. But it was great place, and then now I love it. So I bought my house on there, and then I make a lot of friends in there, and then some PGA players that live in South Carolina. So it was great.
And you like country music now, living in the South?
Not really. I like K-pop, and then I like Maroon 5.
Have you played with any of the PGA Tour players there in South Carolina that you know?
Dustin Johnson from Columbia, South Carolina, and then he was played when I'm playing now that golf course. Okay. So then maybe Northwood Country Club.
So you play at the same course that he played at?
Yes.
Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck over the next couple of days. I'm sure your confidence will come back with the way that you have played. You're just one shot back. Mi Hyang, thanks so much. Let's go back out now to the action.
Down the hill from about 7 feet. Oh, she got that one in, just in the right-hand corner.
How about 4 birdies in the first 5 holes?
She's only taken 17 strokes, Kay, in those five holes. That is a wonderful start.
That's efficient golf.
Back over to 6. And the second shot from Michelle Wie.
Good tee shot here, just in the right edge of the fairway, 137 yards to the hole. Dead into the breeze. Brooke Henderson already hit a really nice shot with a knockdown 6-iron just left of it. But I don't think Michelle has a low draw right now. Tried hitting the low fade, but it did climb into the wind a little right of the hole.
Got it loaded up on it.
Wow, that was perfect.
Wie after the birdie at 5th. 1 shot clear of the cut line at the moment, which will come at the end of play today. This is the second round of the Lotte Championship. Wednesday start, Saturday finish. We're back at the 5th.
Ernst for a birdie opposite side of the hole, Kay, from where Stacey Lewis putted.
And this is to not be left out of the hole because S.H. Park made birdie from just about the same spot that Stacey did. So this is for a hat trick in this group.
Nope.
Shoved it.
That was a shove all the way. It was an inside left firm putt, and she started outside the right edge. It is Thursday afternoon. Jimmy Buffett watching the sun go by, just like we are in Hawaii.
lining up a birdie putt at the 6th. It's Michelle Wee.
Then another very, very slow one up the hill into the green, into the breeze. Slope initially is greater than at the end because it goes over a little rise, appears to go back downhill. But that's never the case on this green.
We just had a good look there, Jerry, at this reverse Sergio, she calls it.
Yeah.
So why would she do that?
Well, you can see that the first practice stroke she makes is with that Sergio claw style grip, and that's to really get the feeling of everything working together, easy passive hands. Then as you can see how neutral her hands are on the grip of the putter, and when you're gripping it like that, it's really to take them out of the equation so you can rock and turn your shoulders through the ball.
It's a little bit like 2, where she was aggressive coming up the hill. She'll have a little work left for her par. To 7.
This is Escajon, her second, up the hill at the par 4. Rookie on the LPGA. This is going to be an important cut to make for a number of reasons. First of all, you're not going to be that far out of the lead if you make the cut, but also a reshuffling for status after this is over.
And Brooke Henderson for birdie at the 6th.
Yeah, so feel even better coming off that, I guess, sloppy bogey at the par 5 hole. She could normally have reached into with a good drive. But this was a heck of a piercing 6-iron that just almost tore the flagstick out of the hole as it is. This is just moving a little right. Well, actually, maybe more than a little. That was the high lip, but a lip nonetheless.
A pair of lips. Another opportunity missed. Another look.
When you see the ball turning like that towards the hole, you always think it has a chance. It's never going to have a chance from the low side, but from the high side, it's always got action.
Nantaya Sisawan for birdie at the 18th. Ooh, another lip.
And I think what you're going to see here with this whole location on 18, we've seen a few putts missed. A lot of water was puddling and pooling in that area yesterday. It's probably a lot softer around there. More footprints around it as the day goes on.
She was in the second group out off 10, so she still has Sisawan. 9 holes to go. Stacey Lewis, red hot at the 6th hole. 4 birdies in her first 5 holes. And she is now 1 shot off the lead at the Lotte Championship. Round 2 coverage continues from Hawaii. current cut line is -1. This Michelle Wie to stay at -2.
3 times a charm. She's done it 3 times now on this backside. Hit good putts to save par.
That'll keep her being aggressive, I would think,
Yep.
as the round goes along. Hottest player on the course, Kay Cockrell watching Stacey
They were
Lewis.
probably the most exposed place, too, of the golf course, being up here. You'd rather get it up there, too, you know?
We started just kept left of it and then
Finish basically on it, right? There's a little right of it, finish?
Yeah, like on that tree back there with the yellow flower.
Yeah.
Just right of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can really feel the wind just whipping through here right now. She's going with a 6-iron and she only has 139 yards, but adding at least 20 to 25 to this second shot.
Oh.
Yeah, it's peeling off.
Ah, good on the ground.
That might be very close to where yesterday's hole was located. That's going to be a tricky 2-putt from there.
We could see that second shot against the backdrop of the darkening clouds, couldn't we? To the 7th.
And Michelle Wie on the tee with a driver.
And this hole is just custom made for that power fade.
Jerry, the difference in Michelle from a year ago is you can hear the sound of the hit. She's getting a much better hit on the driver, consequently more distance. And that is a good sign always for Michelle. We had kind of lost that hit a little bit. This is Escajon for a birdie. Young lady who was born in Colombia but grew up in Belgium. Won the British and Belgian Girls Championships both. Now Henderson aimed down the right-hand side.
Trying to hit that draw. And that started right and started high. I don't think it's coming back.
Does not. That'll be on a severe uphill lie. You can see a lot of golf ball, though, so it should be a pretty good lie. The difficulty will be to keep the ball down off a lie like that.
We'll take a look at the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year standings. Sung-Hyun Park, who last year contended in a couple of major championships, is a rookie officially this year. She's first, and there's Laura Gonzalez Escajon, who is 5th, and with more, here's Tom Abbott.
Well, Grant Escajon arrives on the LPGA Tour with high expectations. She was twice a winner on the Symetra Tour last year, and now she is trying to become only the 2nd Belgian player to win on the LPGA Tour. Florence Descamps was the first. That was 25 years ago in Vermont. Laura Gonzalez Escajon is the subject of Fresh Faces of the LPGA Tour, presented by Leaders Cosmetics.
Hi, I'm Laura Gonzalez Escajon, and I'm a rookie on the LPGA Tour. I'm from Belgium, but I was born in Colombia. My dad's Colombian, my mom is Belgian. When I was 8, my dad played, so I just joined him. I'm very competitive, so my parents knew I had to pick up one sport, and I tried golf, and I just loved it. Something people don't know about me is that I speak 4 languages, which is French, Spanish, Dutch, and English. J'ai 2 sœurs. Mi comida preferida es la pasta. Ik vind dat LPGA heel interessant.
So you might be surprised to learn Laura did not major in languages at Purdue. She was a math major, earning her degree and, not to mention, an NCAA title with the Boilermakers.
It was so much fun. It was nerve-wracking because we just won by 1 shot. So 1 shot with 5 players, that's nothing. So it was down to the last hole. I remember Modemi LeBlanc making an awesome up and down, and we were just sitting on the sideline waiting for it to be enough because we didn't know exactly the scores. But it was one of the best feelings. I knew then it was a good choice to go to Bordeaux.
There has never been a major champion from Belgium. Florie Van Donk, twice a runner-up. But with Laura on the LPGA Tour and Thomas Pieters leading the charge on the men's side. Maybe the heyday of Belgian golf is coming.
Thomas Pieters, I know him since we were really little. We went, the first event I traveled with him was to Florida, and he was maybe 13 and I was 15. So we were very young, and I mean, he plays unbelievable golf, so I'm just super excited. He works really hard, and the Masters was just so much fun to finally have like a good Belgian just fighting there, and I was rooting really hard for him.
Fresh faces of the LPGA Tour presented by Leaders Cosmetics, and let's take a look at some notable Belgian sports figures as Laura Gonzalez Escajon bids to add her name to this list. You will know Kim Clijsters, of course, Nicholas Colsaerts, who played in the Ryder Cup and has won on the European Tour. Eddie Merckx, maybe the most famous sportsman in the history of Belgium. He won the Tour de France 5 times in his cycling career. Thomas Pieters, 3 times a winner on the European Tour, and looking to add to that as he builds on the good golf that he has played already this year. Belgium, by the way, is about the same size as the US state of Maryland. There are less than 100 golf courses in the whole of the country. This is on the 8th hole, Escajon's tee shot.
And with this whole
pretty good one there, Karen.
Absolutely, Tom. I was going to say, with that whole location at the front, quite easy for the players to get it to stop on that lower level with the tier behind it to catch it.
The math major has that for 2. That could go to 7.
And a nice crowd of Hawaii golf fans on this Thursday afternoon following this group. That includes, of course, Michelle Wie, along with Brooke Henderson, who has a second shot into this 7th.
Second shot from 102 yards, ball above her feet, wind from the right and helping a lot still. So it's not the easiest to get close from all those factors, but still, it's just a sand wedge. One of the few greens out here, Mark, that there's really no place to hide the flagstick on this hole. Just 2 bunkers, one behind the green where you'd never see anybody, and one right of the green, which was a big miss with a wedge.
Ball's going to be above her feet again. Good look from behind here. You'll see her grip way down again. She took a big cut at that one, tried to hit it hard, and she did. The harder you hit it, the more the ball will spin. That one spun and stopped, so pretty good shot from that right-hand hillside for Henderson. Now Michelle Wie after a beautiful tee shot.
89 yards, ball just a little below her feet. This is a sand wedge. Very low flight right of the hole, and just not a good wedge shot at all.
No, appears to disappear short of the bunker. That'll be a tough little lie. She's only going to be 20 feet or so from the hole, but you can see disappointed. That was a big divot. Came in very steep on that shot.
In a field that consists of 29 major champions, there are sure to be some fireworks. Don't miss the action of the Mitsubishi Electric Classics starting tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. PGA Tour Champions coverage on Golf Channel. Back we go to the 6th, and a long birdie attempt, but one that, should it fall, would give Stacey Lewis a share of the lead.
And Grant, difficult to putt. Getting up here, it's not so tricky, not an overwhelming big break.
Su Yung Chang, her 3rd at the par 5. sponsor invitation this week by the Lotte Corporation. And it'll come back down the hill off the slope and keep getting better and better. Now it needs to stop. It'll end up all the way on the other side of the hole, but it does stop, so an uphill birdie putt. That would get her to -7. And back to 6.
Well, and every one of these putts, Kay, I know it's only mid-April, but Solheim Cup will be here before you know it. These all matter.
And right now she's number 7 on that list. And in fact, next, in another week, a group of Solheim Cup potential competitors are going to Houston for a little get-together with Captain Julie Inkster. Stacy Lewis helped put it together. They're playing Tiger Woods course just in the Houston area, Blue Jack National, and getting some camaraderie going. Missing the birdie putt at the last and then 3-putting essentially from the front of the green is not a good combo.
The Dallas-Fort Worth area is the next event on the LPGA Tour schedule. That's in 2 weeks.
Third shot from Michelle Wie at 7.
The green sloping straight at her.
Oh, wow. She cannot believe how much spin she got on that one.
Ah, I tell you, it looked like it landed on Velcro.
Okay, just referenced Jerry and Mark, the Solheim Cup standings, and you see Austin Ernst there 7th. Mo Martin and Allison Lee would get the 2 spots after the top 8 from the Rolex World Golf Rankings. And of course, coming up in August, the most exciting event in women's golf returns to the U.S. Des Moines Golf and Country Club. The 15th Solheim Cup comes your way exclusively on Golf Channel and NBC. That gets the blood pumping for you, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I think it's going to be massive this year. I think the crowds are going to be huge. I think the chants are going to be big and going to be very pro-American, as they should be.
Par putt for Stacy Lewis. And that blunts the momentum just a smidge. 4 birdies in her first 5, but now a bogey. To 7.
And Brooke Henderson for a birdie.
This one a little downhill, but it is into the breeze.
Okay, par for Henderson. You can hear that breeze. Karen, you're right about that Solheim Cup. Des Moines, Iowa, one of the great golf towns of America. I remember the 1999 U.S. Senior Open. 50,000 people a day they had out there. It's going to be a tremendous atmosphere in Des Moines for the Solheim Cup. Now Chung to save par here.
She too missed the green just short and played a pitch shot that hit the brakes awfully quickly as well. Not clicking on all cylinders, to use a cliche, in terms of her ball striking today, losing a lot of tee shots to the right.
Okay. Good save there. Just as if she had hit it down the middle and on the green and 2 putts. Doesn't matter now. 4 is a 4. We go up to 8.
Here's the rookie, Morgan Gonzalez Escajon. And for that terrific tee shot, cut line is 1 under at the moment. Little wiggle room. Back we go to 7.
Jerry Michelle Wie is working hard with the putter. She's been brilliant, but really forcing herself to work hard on putts of this length.
She is, but the encouraging thing, you guys have mentioned it, is that they're going in with some conviction, and the ones that aren't going in still pretty much are being struck with conviction, and that is a positive sign. Part of it, I think, is being comfortable on these greens upon which she grew up, Mark, and also the speed is about a foot slower than normal.
You know, she lived over on the east side of Oahu in Hawaii Kai as a younger person, but played most of her golf out here at Ko'olina. This is actually like a home course for her. Area Jutanagard, I.K. Kim lead the way at 9 under, but Stacy Lewis on the chase. Can she catch the leaders by the end of the afternoon? We will find out. back. This is the tee shot at 7 for Stacy Lewis.
Yeah, this hole playing dead downwind. The previous hole dead into the wind, and she leaked that one a little right. It just depends on what kind of lie she gets in that rough.
It sat up right at the last second, Kay. It was down and then just kind of popped its head up.
I think if you land that at that
Over to 8.
Yeah.
Well, this picturesque par 3 is where we find Michelle Wee.
Michelle going with 9-iron. Wind really whipping across this hole from the left. Also a bit of help in it. Hole location today is very gettable, and you don't have to aim at it to get it. You can use that backstop behind it, go left of the hole, and it'll roll down very close to it. But you don't want to get above it. And that's right, and fading.
That did not come back to a flattish area, did it?
No, we're all making faces here because we know how difficult that shot's going to be.
13.
All right, Chang for a birdie. Up the hill this to get to -7. Nope, that is right. Players are having difficulty putting this afternoon. It's always tougher in the afternoons here at Colina than in the mornings when the wind is down, the greens are freshly mown, they haven't had a lot of traffic on them. The holes are cut cleanly. Everything trends toward balls going in instead of lipping out. Now Stacy Lewis back at 7, second shot.
And it's just going to be a gap wedge of sorts, only 113 yards. And the key to this shot is she almost, I think Mark is going to have to hover the club a little bit because it's sitting up so beautifully. She could catch this high on the club face and not hit it very solidly. Sounded good.
Looked good right behind the hole. It's not a bad spot up there. Carried it maybe just a little farther than she thought, but that's okay. Back to the 8th tee.
Brooke Henderson, who had some success, Jerry, on another Ted Robinson designed golf course last year, Sahali.
I wasn't aware that was Ted Robinson, but yeah, that is a gem, an absolute gem, and what a thrilling time that was for not only Brooke, but everybody who likes watching great golf at the highest level. With Brooke edging out Lydia Ko down the stretch, it was phenomenal. But I think that, Karen referenced earlier, she looks so much more serious and maybe even stressed on the golf course. I think that win has something to do with it. I think that just really changed her expectations. And this is not a good one either. Well, right.
Oh, gracious.
Oh, it got back in the bunker, came down a little bit, but still a downhill lie.
Neither one of those bunker shots I would like to be playing.
At the 14th, third shot of the par 5 for Cheyenne Woods. That will be to get her to 1 under, which is the current cut line. A winner on the Ladies European Tour. She's had a run at an LPGA Tour title. Right now, just trying to make it to the last 2 days here. Second round coverage from the Lotte. Saturday finish on this Easter week in Kapolei, Hawaii. Two-way tie for the lead. Stacy Lewis giving chase to the leaders. These two giving chase to just some good fun. 8th. Bunker shot from Michelle Wee.
Oh, downhill lie, side hill lie. She could play it out to the right and use the slope. She didn't. And that acted really funny off the club.
That to stay 2 under, back to 7.
Stacy Lewis for a birdie.
See how aggressively she putts this after the 3-putt. Ooh. Almost got it back immediately.
Patience now. It's only the second round. Back to 8.
And Brooke Henderson second.
Similar shot, but a little easier than Michelle stance-wise. The result looked better from the start, but hard to spin it.
Some par putts for Henderson and Wee. Chun will have a birdie putt. Back to 7.
Austin Ernst. And hate to say this is for a par, Kate Cockrell. What in the world happened?
It is. Oh, she's having a tough stretch right now, coming off that 3-putt at the last. All she had was a little gap wedge, 100-yard shot in here, and she came out of it and hit it in the pot bunker that's hole high right. Basically no shot. No green to work with, didn't have a good lie, and here's where her bunker shot ended up.
Okay, the key now, I believe, Kay, is minimize the damage. 5 is not going to end this championship for her, but you don't want to race it by the hole, make double, or potentially even worse from above the hole. Minimize the damage.
She's playing so much more consistently this year. She's only missed 1 cut. She's had 3 top 10 finishes, and that's a big part of why she's, right now, if it ended now, she'd be on the Solheim Cup team.
That's exactly what I was talking about not doing. Runs it by the hole. And that is a really tough putt coming back. 8.
And this was Henderson for par. She is going the wrong way toward the cut line. And now Michelle Wee to stay 2 under.
Well, she's gone to that well a few times, as you guys have mentioned, but this is much more work right here. Turning left. Good speed. Never turned.
I really feel like that her ability to hit the ball aggressively with the speed is by how lightly she has the putter in her hands right now. It's really, she's able to use the big muscles rather than trying to take the distance off of it.
Cheyenne Woods, this for birdie to get her to 1 under. See the leaf blowing past. It is getting blustery, Mark.
Yeah, the sky is darkening, and we could have the potential for another little micro storm like we did yesterday afternoon at Ko'olina.
Let's take a look at the Symetra Tour money list. Binyapanda Patsapan leading by a few bucks. Daniel Darkea playing this week. Nina Haragai. She'd have a good chance this weekend just to say, forget the rest of the Symetra Tour season. How about win on the LPGA Tour? And let's go straight on from there. Bogey putt for Michelle Wee. Back to where she started. At 1 under par. She made a couple of birdies in the first 3 holes yesterday. And you thought, okay, here we go. And here we go back to 7.
Ernst for a bogey.
Got to dig down deep on this one.
And she did. So that's a 5. Pair of them back to back. Those are good scores. I guess if you're a junior golfer, I always remember playing holes to see if you could make even 5s. But she avoided the double. Stays in the hunt.
Today's coverage is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. and by Prudential, official financial services provider of the LPGA. The offing. Mark, this looks especially menacing.
Well, it's apparently coming right down the coastline toward us. I'd love to hear a word from our good friend, Guy Huggy. As we look at Michelle Wee on the tee at 9, heading right toward the darkness.
Yeah, but straight downwind. It'll be a scoring club in from a good tee shot, and that was a good one.
The Guy Huggy I'm referring to is the best weatherman on the planet, as he describes what is the best weather on the planet, but maybe not in a little while right here. Back to the 8th tee.
And Stacy Lewis 2 shots off the lead.
Has a 9-iron in her hand, wind helping and pushing left to right. Oh, and she's wiped this one a bit.
So hard to make yourself start the ball out over the water hazard in order to get it to hit that green.
Back ahead to the 9th.
And Brooke Henderson gripping way down on this driver.
She grips down on everyone, but 48-inch driver, most players would grip down on, especially if you're not all that tall. Doesn't affect her, though. She still gets plenty of length.
No, the trend has actually been, especially with the men, Jerry, to go to shorter drivers. We saw Ricky Fowler do that about a month and a half ago. Really improved his accuracy and his distance, believe it or not. Up at the green now. Escadon for her par. Okay, string of pars there.
Today's aerial coverage is provided by the Hawaiian Islands. Ted Robinson designed this Ko'olina golf club. Also designed a course over on Lanai, Mark, which the least populated, I believe.
It is, but one of the most popular. Great spot.
Sung Hyun Park, Kay.
See if she can do better than Stacy. And oh, she had the line right, but obviously that sucked down all the way down that steep embankment. It's crazy how a little hole like this that's no more than a 9-iron, 135 yards, probably playing 120, is causing so much trouble. Karen, you have to, like you said, you've got to aim at the center or left side of this green and just know that the wind's going to bring it back to the right.
Well, and the other thing too is that the players are hitting such a short iron into it as well, so the ball is going to get up in the air. It is going to be taken by that wind, but trusting that it will go is very difficult for a player, knowing that there's a water hazard right there waiting to catch the ball.
Austin needs to conjure up something quite nice.
How about that leave?
That's not too bad.
Out of the three, it's the best leave.
Yeah. At the 14th, this is the 5th hole of the day for Becky Morgan. Again, the skies are darkening and keeping our fingers crossed. Pitch back to the 9th.
Second shot for Michelle Wie at the par 4.
Straight downwind, front hole location. You land it short. It likely isn't going to bounce up. Still only 123 yards and a wedge of some variety here.
Important to stay focused now on what she's doing, not worry about the weather or if there's going to be a potential delay or evacuation or anything like that. Stay focused.
She's had 2 wedge shots today that I've seen, 1 and 7. Lost them both right. That one wasn't quite as steep as the previous one.
Yes, better control, Jerry, absolutely. Chance for a 3 for Michelle Wie. No worries out there. Late afternoon snorkeling from our fixed wing airplane. You can see the reef down below the water there, which is about 15 feet deep.
Is there a better time of day to snorkel than another?
Well, typically the ocean would be calmer in the morning, so a lot of people like it early in the morning. It's also getting close to luau time, so that could be a factor.
I thought it was always luau time here. Same distance for NG, 123. Very good line.
Good result. Michelle Wie going to give her the exact line. She may have to actually move her mark for Wie's putt. Now Brooke Henderson.
Brooke 115 yards, and like I mentioned earlier, back at the par 5, she has been off on her distance control with her wedges today now. A lot more hands in this instinctive golf swing of hers through impact than a lot of players, and that might have something to do with struggling to control it, but I think the wind's as big a factor as anything. This becomes a lot more about feel than it does about numbers right now.
Again, that whole location over on the right-hand side and pretty close to the front of the green, so it is not an easy shot, even though it's a short one.